Oh, okay.
All right. All right, it's 8:11 p.m. We'll go ahead and get started. As always, we start with the pledge to the UNIA flag. So if you would, please come off mute and repeat or say the pledge along with me. Please stand if possible. I commit my body, mind, and spirit
Mind and spirit
My
to the
mind,
protection,
spirit,
defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of our scattered Black children.
I
I
accept
accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism, and I promise that
children will be
children will be instilled
with the
and
purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail
all Black people are free.
until all Black people are free and united through one God, one aim, and one destiny.
Race first.
Race first.
Okay, what lesson are we going over? What lesson are we on the questions for?
I think self-initiative.
15.
14.
Oh, 14. 14.
14. Brother Eric got what I was looking for. Self-initiative. General thoughts on self-initiative before we get into the questions.
Nah, not this time.
Anybody? No? Okay. Question 1. What is our single responsibility in life?
Ourselves.
That's right, ourselves.
Ourselves, yes. Every man is his own responsibility, according to Mr. Garvey. So, that's the primary. But again, self-initiative. Next question, what is the purpose of life and what is the duty of man, according to Mr. Garvey?
The purpose of
To live
life
it.
live fully.
Right.
Live it and live it fully. What is the duty of man?
To fall back on himself for
What he wants.
anything he wants.
Brother Art, excellent, Brother Art. You on top of it. This is lesson
14.
This is lesson 14.
Can I actually ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
I usually have both, but when you ask the question, do you ask for it straight from like the like from the text, like what it said in his words, or do you want our interpretation of how to answer the question? Like, would you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because usually I lean towards the second one, and then it's like I end up reading straight from it anyway, like towards the end. So it would just
Okay, well, we talked about this a little bit last week. For this lesson, I would say we're trying to understand Mr. Garvey's perspective. So knowing it verbatim, there's nothing wrong with that. Is one thing that I would say. But we don't want to be parrots. We don't want to just copy exactly what Mr. Garvey said. So I actually would prefer and challenge everyone to be able to
mix and match.
speak it in their own words to an extent, but I have to be fair, because when I give the answer or what I know to be the answer, I go straight to the text. So
Okay.
but I do appreciate, and I think we do have to be, in the practice of putting this in our own words and even modernizing it. Mr. Garvey, as we understand, this was written in 1937 originally, reprinted in 1985. It's 2024. So, the language can be updated. We can say it in our own words and be able to communicate to our people in our time. So that's the importance of being able to say it in our own words.
That was my only question. We can go ahead.
Yeah. But from a examination perspective, don't it's not going to be too bad. If you got the text, you'll be fine. You can rely upon the text and what the text says, but the true mastery of this text, as we'll get into, is the use of the lessons. So it don't matter how well you can articulate it if we can't apply what's in the text. How well are we really understanding it? So from an exam perspective, I will know if you understand Mr. Garvey's perspective. And that's the key thing about this text. One thing I want to make sure, this is not my perspective. You're being examined on how well you understand Mr. Garvey's perspective.
Got you.
So yeah, the first two questions, every man is his own responsibility in life. Nature never made anyone dually, but singly. Therefore, you have your single responsibility. So if we can't do anything else in the world, or if we can't handle any other responsibilities in the world, we should be able to take care of the responsibilities of ourselves. Purpose of life is to live fully. Hence, the single life must be complete. And in fact, it is so with every man. Therefore, it is the duty of man to fall back on himself for whatever he wants, for what he wants. So that's the answer to the first two questions.
So not even twins are made dually, right? Even though they may be identical twins, they still have their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still have their own individuality.
Right.
And no matter, that is a bond that, it should be cherished. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for yourself. Okay. Got the share going. Number 3, why should individuals decide for themselves what they should do? And that's individuals in general, not just us, but any individual. Why should individuals decide for themselves what they should do?
He knows what's best for himself.
Individual knows what's best for himself. Damn. See, that's one of those things. Well, I mean, you said it, but yes, the individual knows what's best for himself. Pretty straightforward. If we don't understand it in any way, we should understand it from a self-initiative standpoint. So if anybody asks us what kind of food we like or what kind of music we like, that's our personal response, and we should be the ones that know best as to the answer to those things. Not even our twin. Our twin may know it too, but you know what I'm saying. Not even your brother, sister, your mother, father should know more about what you desire for yourself than you. So we have to have self-initiative. We talked about in other lessons when we don't have self-initiative, when we don't have that drive, someone else will provide that for us. So this lesson is reinforcing the importance of self-initiative, why we should have it. I mean, why we should value it. We already have it, but why we should value it. What is the best individual policy regarding self-initiative? Individual policy. I don't know why I worded that like that.
The best individual policy should be that the individual develop in himself or herself the courage to do things on his or her own account, always counting the costs and benefits or bad results.
Thank you, Lady President. Excellent. answer. Absolutely correct. I was thinking, what was that policy we had talked about? Kindness or honesty is the best policy. But here, lesson 14, the best individual policy, as Mr. Garvey says, develop in ourselves the courage to do things on our own account. So if we, don't do anything else, we should develop that individual willpower. Questions, comments so far? Okay. But I love this lesson, and we should all love this lesson, honestly, especially as leaders, because it I'm not gonna say take some of the responsibility off of the top leadership, myself, Lady President, but it should instill in each of us a sense of personal responsibility, self-initiative, like because all of us, I would think, are, as we call this a leader, as Garvey calls it, a leadership course, we are striving for what's known as leadership, or we at least see the need for leadership in our community, and the leadership that we currently have, let's not say we can help with what we have. So in striving to do that, one thing that I've learned is you want to have a good, strong, autonomous team. So you want individuals on your team, not only yourself, but everyone around you to an extent to have self-initiative. As long as the overall goals are understood, and that would be the target, as well as the boundaries, the laws not to break. As long as you're focused on the target and you're within the boundaries, everyone should, under a form of autonomy and self-initiative, we should be heading towards the same goal. But it takes a lot of pressure off of the top leaders when everybody, because one thing I've talked to Lady President about is my vision as of now is to have a team that we have to hold back instead of push forward. But I would rather have individuals, like I said, if we understand Constitution, we understand the principles of the UNIA, we understand Message to the People, Course of African Philosophy, and that is our drive, and we stay within the bounds of the Constitution, you should be able to move with the level of autonomy. We should understand that any programs or events that you're proposing or relationships or partnerships that are being proposed are based in that foundation that has been established, so, all right. Questions, comments before I go? That was a little extra lesson. Okay, next question, and this is beautiful follow-up. When we fail to take self-initiative, what do we become? And I remember Lady President.
Sucker.
A sucker, yeah, a sucker. What kind of sucker? Sorry, let's pause.
Man,
Sucker for others or something, right?
something like that. I'm searching. I'm about to open this up right here.
Page 114.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is following up on.
Sucker for others. Always surround yourself with the. Oh, I won't move forward.
No, go ahead, please.
Others. It said always surround yourself with the talent of being able to do by yourself, so as to not be too independent. So don't be a dependent sucker.
Right.
At least be an independent one if you were to be one at all.
But yeah, and that's the key, and that's why I said what kind of sucker, because you're not just a individual sucker, but you're a sucker for others, which in other, this is where we get into the slave, the inferior concepts. When we don't have drive for ourselves and someone else is providing that drive for us, we have, I'm not gonna say we have to, but yes, we do have to.
Yeah.
Given who we are and what we were created for, that is against our purpose, and we have to look down on these classes or statuses. These can't be things that we are complacent with, at the very least. So, sucker for others. We have to have our own self-initiative. So again, we apply that as an individual. We apply that as a community. We apply that as an organization, and we apply that as a government. But it's a beautiful lesson. We should, it's a lot of ways to look at this. Like I said, you can look at it as yourself, but you can also look at it from an organizational standpoint. Self-initiative. We can't sit and wait for leadership to provide a course of African philosophy for us. We can't wait for leadership to provide a constitution training for us. If they've provided us with the information and the guidance, then we should take the self-initiative, upon ourselves to develop courses of training to study this information. And as Garvey said, we start small, and once we become more refined in that process, we can open it up to other groups. So self-initiative, very important. What is the root of self-reliance? I like this one. This one was the long statement. It's in italicized words, but it starts with what is the root of it? Starts with self-reliance, and it goes through several. This is this.
Subject double factor.
Double factor.
No, I was saying because 5 and 6 stem from the same question. I mean, same answer.
Oh,
Well, no, I thought the root of self-reliance was separate because it's the words are italicized in the answer. I remember this one.
yeah, the words say strong will, but I see the following thing.
Let me see.
When you-
Well, let me just open the text then. So page
Mhm.
14.
Your will is if you're saying italicized, it says your will is your decision, and your decision is your intelligence, and your intelligence is your personality, and your personality is your self-confidence and your initiative.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the most important one, I guess, would be the first one. So will.
Yeah, because it start well
No, it's
at the
actually
bottom
the
of the second
self-confidence.
paragraph.
Let me see. Wait, what was the question that I asked?
About the self-reliance, because it's back up in the paragraph above where you were just reading. It says, therefore, try to never be subject mentally of a factor, because a factor may destroy your opportunity for self-reliance and self-initiative. That's why I was saying 5 and 6 basically came from the same source.
I don't even remember where that was.
Page. What do you mean? Page 114?
Yeah, right there where your hand is.
Okay.
It says, therefore,
Never be the
Yeah.
subject mentally of a factor. So that's being under someone else's control. That's the hypnotist, because a factor may destroy your opportunity for self-reliance and self-initiative. Yes. But where I was going was self-reliance and self-initiative. Why did I say self-initiative?
that was the previous question. And that goes back to your initiative on that one.
Okay, hold on. 114. Well, strong will. Strong will. So is that what you said, Brother Eric? Your will?
I said, you said what was the root, and I said strong will, because that was the first one in the list of the italicized one. It says your will is your decision, and then it led from what your decision is, and then it led to what that leads
Yes,
to.
that's true. You're right.
Beginning.
Yeah, I looked at. I thought I had put will first, and then it went to self-confidence, self-initiative. But your confidence and your initiative grow into your will, or your does that? Let me see. Hold on. Your will is your decision. Yeah, no, your will grows into your self-confidence and your self-initiative. That's what it is. Yes, so that is the root. If we have our strong will, if we understand, as I said, our connection to the Creator, our purpose here in this plane, that will, that understanding of who we are and what our purpose is, evolves into confidence. Because we have a knowledge of self. I'm not just here, as a mindless drone, so to speak, but I know my purpose, and I have the will to act on that purpose. So yeah, your will was the correct word. And brother Malik, you were not wrong either. Always maintain. Yeah, there. Strong will. Emphasize strong will. Therefore, never be destroy your
Because the
opportunity.
mental factor is like the representativeness of will. You know what I'm saying? That is your mental factor a little bit. So that was right.
I mean, your will is your decision. Your decision is your intelligence. So being able to, what food you like, turkey, just making a decision is an expression of your will, and having the intelligence to make a decision and not just say rocks, or
Or getting convinced into eating chicken or pork or something like that. Being able to
yes, exactly.
I like turkey.
That's
Or
the
no, I do like
yeah.
I only want turkey.
Yes, so that's I guess it's kind of three ways of looking at it. One is where we want to be. You have your own will, you have your own direction. Two, you have no will, no direction. And three is you have no will and someone else is providing you direction, or someone else is providing your quote unquote will. So that's where we've been as a people, is someone else providing us things. We've kind of moved somewhat into a stagnant position nowadays is what I like to. That's the best way I can think of it, of just not being engaged. And we want, not understanding or at least acting on our purpose, kind of being ignorant to our purpose, acting like it's not real or it's not what it is. But we need to move into that. We know who we are. We know what our purpose is. We know what our goals are. We know that in order for this world to function righteously, there must be righteous leadership, and if no one else is willing to do it, that's what our ancestor sent us here for. So, we have to have a strong will. Is the importance of those questions. Any questions on that? But either one, will, initiative, long as you understand the sentiment, you'll be okay. It's not going to be super strict unless you just don't answer anything or you just way off. That won't get credit. Questions, comments before we proceed? I'm gonna say 46. We got 46% battery. 8:32. We're doing pretty good on time. Any questions? Okay. Almost halfway through lesson 14. When should we call for help from others? According to Mr. Garvey, on the lesson on self-initiative, when should we call for help from others?
When we absolutely have to.
Pretty much.
Or no, according to him, it's always help yourself, because only when you are completely satisfied that you do not have the ability. So when you can not get further and it would actually hinder something, to not ask someone, is how I took it.
Not hinder someone. Ask them. Is that how you took it? What you mean hinder someone? What does hindering someone have?
No, not hindering someone, hindering something. So like if I need help like lifting a dresser, and I really want to do it myself and I literally can't, I'm not going to get the dresser downstairs because I didn't ask anybody. I really needed to.
Yes. Well, yes. And that's the other side of self-initiative. We don't want to be unintelligent when it comes to self-initiative. But I like the first thing that you said, when you can't. But that's we got to be careful with that term, because some people can be, not you, Brother Eric, but some of our people can be very lazy with that term can't, and they so quickly apply it to
They're can't oriented.
simple things, to where they just, I can't get a job, I can't get a car, I can't finish school. Like, wait a minute, hold on now. But you are correct if you look at it from an intelligence sense. Garvey, without me reading it, basically, when we know for a fact that we can't do this that it would be nearly impossible for us to do this for ourselves. When we've gone through that mental exercise, we may have even tried, a few things ourselves, but we've, come to that conclusion of, I cannot do this on my own, or trying to do this on my own, I could hurt myself. Or long as we've gone through that mental exercise and we've come to the conclusion that we can't do it, instead of just, forfeiting and saying, I can't do this, I'm gonna just I'm gonna call some people. But if we really make that attempt and really make that application and we really come to that conclusion, then we should get help. But it's a two-sided again. One, you don't want to be quick to ask for help, but at the same time, we have to understand we can't do everything ourselves, and we got to know really when we need help. So, as Garvey says, always try to help yourself. Only when you are completely satisfied that you do not have the ability, knowledge, character, and strength to do for yourself should you call anyone to help you. So that's Garvey's words, as well as my understanding, my memory. Questions? Okay. Next question, and we'll be halfway through. Why must we only ask for help from very, very good friends or relatives? Why must we only ask for help from very, very good friends or relatives? According to Mr. Garvey in lesson 14.
But minimize the risk of being taken advantage of.
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't know if it had something to do with trust, or was this the one where he said like
they'll respect you a little less is what I wrote down. They'll respect you.
It's not the one where they'll steal your ideas.
Pretty much, yeah. You open yourself up if you know they're not reputable.
There it is.
You know, if it has some value to it, they're gonna want a piece of it.
Yep. The thing you ask help for may be valuable. They may take the value for themselves, and all you get is disappointment. What I had is lesson 11. But again, as we've learned in lesson man, unless we've gone through some rites of passage together, Garvey, in essence, the way I understand it, we should expect men to be wicked and vile. But we should only be asking for help from our very, very close friends. The thing we're asking for help for may have some value, and these individuals may take the value for themselves. Nowadays, they call it a setup. But
wicked and violent, snaky.
What are they? Yeah, but yeah, it's yeah, we got a lot of that. Questions, comments? First half done. Okay, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These are a little bit smaller, but y'all should have copies of the questions. Why can no man say there is no God? And how is man limited in life and death? So first, why can no man say that there is no God? Well, I think these probably are linked together. So why
no man is like God, and then on the second part, he is limited in his intelligence.
He is limited in his intelligence, and what else? What about life and death?
He's going to say he was inadequate or something to that effect.
One of them is without will.
He dies without his will or wish.
And what is the birth part of it? He's born without knowledge, or
yeah, born without knowledge. So yeah, that's the limited in the intelligence.
Naturally be controlled by someone else. Do not be man, because man is a man, whether he's a big man or a small man. So power that gives birth and causes death must be greater than man's power, whatever that is. It must be absolute, because whatever we control in the time we control it, something controls that. So that's his logic.
Yes, absolutely. No man is like God. As we learned on lesson 5, titled God, Garvey articulates God as universal intelligence compared to man, which is unitary intelligence. There's no way a piece can be as great as the whole. So for anyone to say that there is no God, the word that Garvey used, I don't think he used presumptuous there. But basically, we don't have if we're honest with ourselves, we don't have the mental capability to firmly attest that there is no God. And as Eric just articulated, and the way Garvey saw it, Man is not in control of his birth or his death, and there must be something else that's greater than man that controls the things that man can't control. Questions, comments? But we're born without our knowledge and die without our will or wish, according to Mr. Garvey. I know this one's difficult, but y'all should have it. What two things should we not say about God? What two things should we not say in regards to God?
That he doesn't exist.
That he does not exist. I believe that's one. What's the other one?
The second one is that, well, she said
that call himself God.
Yes, I believe it's that man is God. So the first one is that there is no God, and second is that he, or she is God. If someone claims to be God, that's not something that Garvey acknowledges. Questions, comments?
Or that he or she does not exist.
Right. Yes. You're talking about God, is the concept. Right. Yep. Okay. So that's a couple things in regards to God. And we're talking about God again. This is self-initiative. So we got to figure out, what Garvey's trying to communicate. But at any rate, number 10, 11, why should we not fear God?
I think I remember something saying that we shouldn't fear God if we're almost to say if we're living a certain way, that we shouldn't fear God.
Yeah, if you love God, you need not fear God, for he is with you and you are part of him in your goodness.
Yep. Pretty much. One, that's if we love God, we should not fear him. I think I want to say the second aspect, I think you said it, Brother Malik, but if we're not doing anything wrong, why should we fear God? I think that's the second.
Yeah, I went closer to that route when I answered.
He said, I mean, it's both, but he said, if you love God, you need not fear him. You fear God only when you are conscious of being evil or wicked. So naturally, if we're not doing anything wrong, we shouldn't be fearing God. And again, that's why I said one of my favorite Garvey quotes: "Men who are in earnest are not in fear of consequences." But unless we think we're doing something wrong or bad or wicked or immoral, we shouldn't be, worried about, quote unquote consequences. But if we love God, need not fear him. We should have that relationship and be conscious of, the other part. Any questions? And I know this is small. I'm gonna make this larger next year, but gotta work what we got. No questions. How are we able to handle man without fearing him?
By expecting them to be, or he said, by expecting them to be wicked. It says man is vicious. No, it says never fear man, but understand him.
Understand him.
Escape the wrath of man and master man. You got to expect that type of thing. Man is vicious, man is wicked, and you must know that he is. So
pretty much. I didn't even know this question was on here, honestly. But knowing that he is wicked, he says it on page 116, and again, referencing the lesson on man. But we can't jump to lesson 14 and expect to understand what Garvey's talking about if we haven't really understood lesson 11. So he's repeating some concepts. And that's why, as I've said, any concepts that are repeated are things that I consider important because he doesn't repeat everything. Next question. How do you allow other men to master you in a meeting?
Wait. Break that eye contact. They fold under the He said the stare, meet the stare of a man with your stare is what was said. Never cringe and buckle is what was implied.
Yes, Anybody want to add to that?
He
But
said
yeah,
it works with animals too, but I don't know if I'd try it with a tiger.
that's true. But he talked about this previously. I can't remember which lesson, if it was lesson 2 or lesson 4. I can't remember. Probably lesson 4. I don't know. But he talked about eye contact. And he's bringing this up again. He says, never cringe before the stare of another man. So we have to be able to maintain eye contact. We can't, if an individual is looking at us, or if we're being disciplined or reprimanded, you can't look down like a puppy. You have to maintain eye contact. Never cringe before the stare of another man. The first time you take your eyes off him because of his stare, he conquers you because you are unprepared. Is what Garvey says, page 116. Questions, comments on that? But we should be prepared. We should know that we are the experts of our field, of the intelligence that we have, and we should not be intimidated by the knowledge that anyone else has, especially when it comes to, we shouldn't be intimidated by anyone else.
I've actually gotten like dogs to turn around and go home. Like when I'm looking at houses for the auction and some weird dog come out of nowhere, I'll like stand firm and just say, go home, and stare at the dog and it'll go. And that's happened a couple of times. I don't know if it'll always happen, but happened a couple of times with me.
Yeah, they say dogs can sense fear, but I think that has something to do with it. Is how we react and our ability to maintain eye contact as well.
I would add body language as well, just to modernize, I guess, or to add to the list a little more. I would say body language also, because it's not always just the eye contact. That's a good thing to point out. Like sometimes just from I get I don't want to go on way too long though, so I don't know if you want to ask me that respectfully.
We can hold off on that.
Yeah. I'll it's the forward only because we're already a little behind. I won't drag you to the. It's okay, but I feel like it's a layered thing because humans communicate. Like even our face, our eyes. It's not just our eyes. Even like our eyebrows. We have like the muscles next to our ears move sometimes. Our nose, like we have folds. Like it's so many. It's a really interesting topic too. But
it is. And we could spend a whole session and probably a couple sessions on it. But
it's verbal and nonverbal communication, basically.
Verbal and non. That's a good way to. That's a better way to put it. Verbal and nonverbal. Yeah.
For the sake of this course, we want to just
it's eye contact.
Yeah, the minimum we would say is eye contact. All right. What characteristic of man conquers man? That's a good question. I don't remember the answer. I'm thinking confidence, but
Kind of.
what characteristic of man conquers man?
Yeah, it's a daring look, self-confidence, strong character. Yeah.
The boldest and longest stare, I guess he also says. For strong character, I got lesson 7. Daring look, and all of this really is lesson 7. Daring look, self-confidence, strong character. That's a mastery of lesson 7. And with these characteristics, when we walk into a room, when we walk amongst others, we will be able to hold our own. But this is Mr. Garvey's lessons. After what he says, a lifetime of organizing. At the age of 50, this is what he, began to teach. Okay, next question. When is God pleased with man?
When we get closer to ourselves in him, when we lift ourselves. When we lift ourselves.
When we lift ourselves, I think it's more specific. When we lift ourselves to what? Is it just lift ourselves?
You said from or to?
When is God? I said when we lift ourselves. I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, that is what I said.
You said to God or something?
Oh, I was that was the personal interpretation.
Yeah.
When we lift ourselves is what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God is pleased when man lifts himself to his true position in his kingdom of earth and heaven.
Yes, I would. Yeah, that's why I was saying lifts themselves where, the position aspect of it. It's the will, knowing who we are, knowing purpose. Not just. I mean, being lifted is very important, but being lifted to our true position, our kingdom. So that's what I would be looking for.
Something I noticed while I was reading this also is that a lot of remember in the other lessons it was saying that I think it was, I don't remember which one, I won't mess it up, but he was saying that always a good leader, like speaking wise, has double meanings to fall back on one of them in case the other one ends up not being the right one. Right?
Yeah, but I think you talking
Mhm.
about diplomacy.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with that
Yeah,
lesson.
most definitely. Yeah, but look, a lot of these, the second meaning is always literal. Like he always alludes to like a literal position also, like the fact that you also specified it for the sake of the lesson.
Yeah.
He also meant literal a little bit. That's all.
Talking
That's
about
all
just the previous
looking at it
question?
that way also.
You talking about just the previous question?
Yeah, literally just that one, like lifting yourself. If I could even find the spot right
Page
there.
117 should be towards the top, I would think.
Towards the top. God is pleased when he lifts himself to his true position in his kingdom of earth and heaven. Position. There's a lot of definitions of the word position.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Kingdom, can be interpreted differently by different people, but it's that understanding. It's that somewhat of a complete understanding. We have to understand that we have, and I equate lift, position, kingdom on earth and heaven, purpose. We have to understand that we have a purpose. And Garvey's got a whole lesson about purpose. I'm pretty sure in here somewhere. Thought he did. I'm pretty sure he does. But understanding our purpose and living, doing the best that we can to live out that purpose. That's what Garvey says is when God is pleased with us, and I agree with that 1,000%. But again, that's contrast to us being complacent in positions that are not, designed for us, fit for us, not our purpose. Questions, comments? We got 3 more questions.
Yep.
Okay, 2 questions here. What should we ask for and what should we not ask God for? What should we ask God for? What things should we ask God for? What things should we not ask God for?
Is it wisdom and understanding?
Wisdom and understanding.
We shouldn't ask for the things that are already here to help us to gain wisdom and understanding.
Right, but he didn't add a little bit more to that.
He specified wealth.
Yes, and never pray to God for particular things,
Right.
for individual things.
Right.
He has already given all that necessary for your existence and creation, and he's placed you as Lord and Master over them. And why worry him with further praying for these things?
Yes. So it comes down to what we ask God for. Brother Malik, do you have the specifics? I know it's wisdom, knowledge. I don't remember the specifics.
It was well, far as your the next question.
Look to God, ask him for strength, ask him for courage and righteousness, and you will be able to battle the world of men. Don't ask for wealth, but ask for wisdom, as Solomon did. He will open up great knowledge of goodness if you are good in your approach to him. If you ask God for wisdom and understanding, you have everything else, because with wisdom, you are able to understand, with wisdom and understanding, you will be able to take care of yourself. So in essence, we should ask God for wisdom and understanding, strength and courage. And if he gives us those things and we have those things, we should be able to use those things to acquire whatever else we want, whether it's a car, a house, riches, fame. If we have courage, strength, wisdom, and understanding, we should be able to get those things. So we should not have to ask God for those things. Questions, comments, are we clear on that?
Yeah, I think he means like if you have a backyard and you don't have any food, that you can gain the wisdom and understanding by reading how to do a garden, or use trial and error till your garden gets better, instead of asking him for food when you have a backyard to grow your food.
That's
I know that's a weird example, but
that's valid. That's valid. We have a lot of the talents and skills that we need to produce for ourselves, but we're still asking the Creator to, bypass our skills and gifts and just give us the things that we're asking for. Strength, courage, and righteousness, wisdom, and understanding. Don't ask for wealth, particular things, individual things. Last two questions. What should we seek first so that all life will unfurl itself to you through God? What should you seek first so that life will unfurl itself to you?
Wisdom and understanding again.
Yes, sir. I'm pretty sure you're right. Wisdom and understanding. So again, basis of self-initiative. I think that's implied with self-initiative, that's somewhat required to have self-initiative is wisdom and understanding. But we can't, again, become complacent with that level of wisdom and understanding that we have. We have enough to be self-reliant, and we have enough to know that we should be asking for more. So we should continue to obtain wisdom and understanding. And as Garvey says, all life will unfurl itself to us through God. And that's talking about that, being that Christ lesson. Brother Ever said living for something had purpose in it. Okay. Appreciate you, Brother Ever. Messed me up. But wisdom and understanding, yeah, but you're all right. Any questions on that? Last question.
And so
that's what it says in Proverbs. Get wisdom. I don't even remember what chapter, but it's in the beginning.
I think
it says in all things get wisdom, get understanding.
And he says the fear of God is wisdom. The knowledge, something about wisdom is the fear of God. But yes, Proverbs is full of the understanding for the search for wisdom. And as again, what was the text that Garvey said we should be reading the chapter of every day?
The Bible.
The Bible, yes. So for those that weren't here for lesson 1, that's something that he says in lesson 1 is what that we should read a chapter of the Bible every day. So we should be seeking wisdom and understanding. Oh yeah, that's where I was going. Just that connection between wisdom and understanding and self-initiative. We know we have enough wisdom and understanding to know we have self-initiative. We got to continue that process and expand it to our community and to our nation. Last question. Any questions before we get to last question?
Yeah. Proverbs 1:1-7.
Go ahead. What you got?
No, I was just telling you the one where you were talking about the wisdom and whatnot.
Understanding.
I thought you were about to read it.
Yeah, you can read it, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, it says to the Proverbs of Solomon to the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to receive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtly to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion, A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand the proverb and the interpretations, the words of the wise, and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent, Brother Malik. Thank you. Woo. Got the spirit. Last question, then we'll get to the reading. It's 9 o'clock. Perfect timing. What are the receptacles for understanding and wisdom, according to Mr. Garvey?
Mind and soul.
Mind and the soul. I was supposed to ask what lesson that's from. Sister Diane and our students from the beginning, what did Garvey say in the beginning of the text about your mind and your soul?
Okay, let's see.
What do we remember about that?
It said that, oh wait, Christ was God and perfect. Oh no, it said that Christ was perfect in it. So let's see what else it said. Mind.
I want to say it's either lesson 2 or 4.
2 or 4.
More 2. Let's see what we got.
Your desire to accomplish greatness, you must first decide in your own. Oh no, that's in our mind, not about our mind. 2 or 4?
I thought it was.
I see 5. I see 1 and 5.
What you got in 5?
5, it says, let's see. In every man there's a spirit of God, that is to say that which is there to advise you and direct you to do good always, and each man is the free will soul, which is the mind. I see that on page 52. That's in 6. That's about Christ, talking about how the mind is where, like, talking about how it's like the decision maker and what like guides us, kind of, is what I think that one's talking about. But that's in 6.
Well, it says, this is, I don't know. It says, keep in communion with God. No one but you can save your soul. And then it says, therefore also worship with your own heart, soul, and mind. I don't know if that's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, that's it. What lesson is that?
That's page 56, which is part of lesson 6, Christ.
Okay. Yeah. It was.
I saw one. I think I'm gonna find what I think you're talking about. I think I know.
No, that's it. There's confusion of expression, mind, body, soul. But I thought it related to the Trinity, because he had one that said like these things are like the Trinity. But this one is it's matches. There's confusion of expression between mind, soul, and heart. These expressions are used with laxity. In fact, they all mean the same thing. The soul of a man is the mind of a man, in which we speak of the heart, not the physical thing, but the expressive thing. We mean the soul, which is the mind. So always remember that you have a body, which is a physical case for the soul, which is the mind, which is the heart, in the sentimental sense of the heart expressing itself. Oh, they had Trinity right here, but there must be somewhere else. So yeah,
Which
that's why I
lesson
got
did you
heart.
read from? What chapter?
That was page 56, second page.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you found it something somewhere else.
No, I was looking for the Trinity part. Thought that was it, but maybe I was wrong. What part of the body does Garvey use to describe the Holy Trinity? This is in Christ, page 55.
The heart, I think.
Page 55. So yeah, it was in Christ. That's it. Yeah, because in the page 54, he says the doctrine of the Trinity, God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, not commonly understood by the ordinary mind. and will not think in the guiding spirit of God.
Mind, soul, heart.
Yeah, that's where he applied mind, soul, and heart, saying like they are, in his interpretation, they are one, So when he says wisdom and understanding, the mind and the soul, heart, at this stage in Garvey's life, he saw them as synonymous.
So he's comparing the mind, soul, and the heart to the Trinity then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. Okay, and that was I think that was the last question. What are the two receptacles for understanding? Mind and soul, or I've got heart because he said that in lesson 2, but mind and soul would be the correct answers. Any questions, comments on self-initiative?
So if we put heart, we won't get it wrong. I'm just kidding.
You get 50%.
Mm.
No questions on self-initiative? Okay. All right. Yeah. Personality is short. We might be able to read personality and propaganda tonight. Who's going to be able to read for us? Who would like to read?
I'll read.
Thank
I'll
you.
read.
Thank you. Let me switch over. You got it.
Lesson 15, personality. A thing to impress the world with is your own personality. Your makeup as a man or woman must be so clean cut as to leave nothing to suggest the incompleteness of a perfect person. Man is always disposed to respect and honor those who show themselves observant of all the rules of manly dignity and character. It is said by some philosopher that cleanliness is next to godliness. Therefore, always be clean cut in your appearance. When you meet others, and particularly the public, never be slack in your appearance. And at any time in meeting another person or persons, be neat and clean in appearance, even in your own household, because the moment you throw off the reserve of your personality, you invite disrespect for your person. As far as your personal attire is concerned, always see that it is in style, in proper shape, and presentable before you appear outside of yourself. Always appear at your best, even though you may be suffering under the greatest difficulties of strain, because by that very good appearance, you may win support to enable you to get out of your difficulties. Never let your difficulties weigh you down to such an extent as to forget the presentableness of your personality. The world is always looking first for defects. Before they tabulate your virtues, see to it that nothing is defective about your appearance, from your shoe to your dollar, from your toes to your head, from your nail to your mouth. For in search of this, they will strike up on the one defect. If there is one defect, they will say that you are careless about yourself and therefore will be careless about other things. To maintain a good personality, you must observe all the rules of hygiene. Personal sanitation adds to confidence in you and complete satisfaction. Your appearance adds to your personal confidence. your personal confidence. With this personal confidence, you may face the world and win. With a personal defect, you naturally lose confidence and lose generally. Never let anyone persuade you to go anyhow, even though you are not. Wait, never let anyone to persuade you to go anyhow, even though you are not presentable, because you are not going very far. It may be just in that short distance that somebody of importance with deep scrutiny may observe you and conclude that you are a slack person and cause you to lose much. A perfect personality made through proper care of oneself is a passport to anywhere in the world, socially and otherwise. Never go eating in the street, never go into company and expose your bad manners in any direction. Try to suppress those bad manners. Leave them at home. Eating and talking are bad manners in public, which are excusable and proper at the dining table. No matter how hungry you are, don't take your meals while walking, and never eat as an individual at a public meeting before the audience. You will lose their respect immediately for not having regular meal hours or having your meals in an improper place which social regulations have established. A public platform is not a restaurant nor a dining room. Don't eat or even chew gum in people's face. It is always an ugly sight and shows gross disrespect for company. You may chew your gum in your home, but not on a public platform, nor at a public meeting. The man with a good appearance walks down the street with pride, courage, self-confidence, and self-respect. The man with a dirty shirt or a dirty underwear and poorly kept clothes is self-consciously afraid of himself and therefore afraid of company. Hence, he is without confidence in himself. A dirty person on the street is bound to be affected by the heat. The heat betrays his dirt to the passerby, and everybody looks around to see who it is. And as you are spotted, you become marked, and the odor you throw off as a result of the heat may become your social undoing in the community. So always be clean in appearance and in body. It costs very little because even with one suit, you may keep it so clean as to always be presentable to the public. It is better for the public to say, that man has been wearing that suit for a year, but it has always been well kept, than for the public to say, that man changes his clothes, but he's always dirty. Never go on a platform with patched clothes, because somebody will see the patch and surely come to the conclusion that you are patched up all around. When you go before the public, remember that they are looking at scrutinizing from head to toe, back and front. They are going right through you, searching for something that reveals your true character. Disappoint them always by giving them the best you have in character, which is outwardly represented by your clean-cut appearance. I look at a man, he was a beggar. His shoes were broken in many places and very dirty. His clothes were ragged and torn in many places. His color was swarthy, black, and revealed dirt everywhere. His fingernails were black and dirty. His teeth were unkempt. His breath was foul. A shirt was black with dirt. He asked me for help. Oh, wait, I gotta plug in my phone. Hold on, sorry. Oh, 1 second. Plug in my phone before I lose its control. Okay. All right. So, he asked me for help. I gave him a penny and walked away because I thought it was enough, because he could not appreciate the use of more. I saw another beggar whose clothes were poor but clean. His pants revealed poverty, but they were also clean. I gave him a sovereign because I thought he could appreciate the use of it. There is a moral. People will judge you by your appearance, whether you are rich or poor, and they will deal with you accordingly. Never make it a custom to carry distress on your face or in your eyes. Never carry yourself as to suggest despondency and overburdened sorrow. People will learn to shun you. Keep smiling, keep being pleasant all the time, even if you're dying. It is better to be a pleasant corpse than a hideous, ugly-looking one. Show distress only when you may win help from those you approach, but be sure that you have struck a right estimate of your scrutinizers. To show sorrow to those not interested is to drive them away from you. Never show it to those who are not interested. When you're keeping an appointment, always appear at your best to justify the particular mission. For instance, if you're going to do big business, appear in a way to suggest that you can maintain and live up to big business. If you're going to seek a job by an appointment, modify your dress so as not to outdress your prospective employer. If you're going begging for yourself, don't go flashily dressed or overdressed, but dress in keeping with the kind of impression you would like to. Yes. Okay. That you would like to make upon your benefactor. This is purely a question of judgment. If you're going begging for a cause like the UNIA, you must not go as a revealed personal beggar. You would cause a person to say to himself, why should I give him money for a cause when he looks like someone who begs for himself and cannot be trusted with such philanthropic responsibility for others? Never go asking help for a cause, caring not how lofty it is, looking hungry, distressed, and brokenhearted yourself. Nobody will believe your story. You are likely to be jailed until you can prove your sincerity. Win a good reputation in your community by being up to date in your personality. Let your individuality stand out clearly. Every man has an individuality. He is known by that individuality. The background of that individuality should be his clean-cut personality. Don't be lazy in whatever you have to do, because that laziness will grow on you and people will observe you and mark you as being lazy. It is news circulate It is news. If the news circulate, it will undo you. If you find a thing to do as a job or occupation, do it well and show interest in it until you have decided to do something else. But while you are doing it, do it to the best of your ability and put your personality and individuality behind it, because somebody observing or coming after you will say, this thing was well done by Jones or badly done by Jones. Your reputation is at stake. If you can choose your employment or occupation, then choose only that employment or occupation that will give you complete satisfaction in its practice, so that you may put your whole heart and soul in it and achieve the greatest good or the greatest result. To carelessly choose your occupation or employment and find afterwards that it does not suit your nature is a waste of time. If you dislike your employment or occupation, you will not concentrate on it and give the best result to your own benefit, because you will always be thinking of something else while mechanically doing what you are occupied with. Hence, to be your true self, always be sure to properly select the right occupation before you go into it. Never be frivolous in the public eye or in the eye of company, because they will mark you down as a frivolous and irresponsible person. Always try to maintain the dignity of seriousness, or at least a poise that would suggest that you are a person of dignity, reserve. You're a person of dignified reserve. To go giggling, prancing and jumping about like a child stamps you as a clown. A man must be a man, a woman must be a woman, while a child must be a child. You are a child once, a man once, a corpse once. In the 3 stages, you must behave accordingly to nature. Prance and giggle as a child, be serious and dignified as a man, and rest peacefully as a corpse. Okay. If you happen to make mistake in getting employment or a position that is not suited to your nature and disposition, while working at it, do the best you can do to maintain your reputation, exercise your effort to find the occupation or employment you are best suited for, and see that you do not make a second mistake, but find your right place in life. If you go on making mistakes of that kind, your life will end as a complete failure, because you will never be able to master anything, because your whole soul and heart was never in anything. Before you can impress others and get them to follow you or imitate you or accept your suggestion of anything higher in life, you must show evidence of success in it. No man who is not successful can teach others how to succeed. It is impertinent. It is impertinence for a man who has not succeeded through his personality to suggest to other people how they can succeed. Therefore, make yourself a success, and other people will follow your advice because they see success in you. Never go among people better than yourself, telling them how to succeed, but use your illustration of success among others who have not succeeded, and that illustration must be in your own personality and individuality. To maintain a good personality and robust individuality, be sure to keep your body in proper physical condition. Therefore, there is no better way to do this than at least once a week to take some kind of effective purgative. It will clean your system and give you clear vision and healthy thoughts with a responsive body free of pain and ailments. Do this regularly may lengthen your life for 10 to 10 years because it keeps you in a state of health to resist the germs of disease. If you follow this practice, you may never have to see a doctor except on major physical matters. Never try to make an important speech with a clogged system. The poison of your system will get up on your mind and keep you so hazy in thought as not to reveal the mentality of your true self. When a person claims to feel bad and goes to a doctor, except it is an ailment resulting from a major cause, he's always go up a little bit. Okay, he's always prescribed a purgative. Why pay $1 or $2? A purgative. Why pay $1 or $2 or 10 to get the same thing you may take at a cost of 5 cents? A clear system is always a prevention against threatening diseases. Keep your system clean at least once a week. If a motor car runs all the time without being cleaned or overhauled, it will suddenly one day break down and it is iron. How much more will a human being not break down if he doesn't keep his system clean? Everything he eats does not pass out voluntarily. Some things remain in the system to breed germ of disease, which may affect you in all ways. The greatest insurance is to keep your system regularly cleaned. A heavy stomach or disordered stomach affects the whole nervous system. All the nerves are related in the human body, and they depend on the stomach, chiefly as a main artery of supply. If the stomach grows sick, it sends poison through the whole body. Keep your stomach clean. It is better to be half hungry than wholly filled.
Thank you.
And you read that one too?
No, we're gonna save that because we got good time. 9:28. We'll shut down. The next two lessons, propaganda and communism, aren't very long, so we will read those next week. And personality, yeah, we got a few pages on personality. I can't remember how many questions, but I would expect probably about 15 questions from personality.
Personality, I think is 18. Ooh, there's a couple.
I don't know if I like that you know that. How do you know that?
Hey, I have a question also. When you pulled up the thing in the beginning of all this, you pulled up the reading and the schedule that you had?
Yeah.
Are we gonna read we're gonna answer these questions? Are we gonna read back to back, or are we going to read questions and then read questions next time? Or are we play it by ear?
Oh,
Is
all right.
that's going to be multiple choice?
No. Are you talking about next week's, or are you talking about the end exam?
I'm talking about this right here next week. So on the 23rd, are we gonna read twice and then just do the questions twice, or are we gonna do the questions, redo the questions?
So next week, what we will do is questions from personality, which will take most of the time, and then we will read propaganda and communism.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And then on the 30th, we'll have questions from propaganda and communism, and then read commercial and industrial transactions.
Okay.
So,
And then you're going to make the final exam multiple choice.
no, final exam will not be multiple choice.
Oh.
Nah, those are
We still would have to know the real answers.
that means there's a 1 in 4 chance that you don't have to take the questions seriously. They have to be open.
I was trying to help us, Eric.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You about to
I
hurt, you about to
digress.
hurt everybody. No. It's
Well,
straightforward.
at least a few of them would be good. Mix it up, you know.
I may have a few. But at the end of the day, the way I'm not trying to trick anybody up or confuse anybody. For me, the essential component of going through this course is a level of responsibility. Now we can hold each other accountable, we can hold each other responsible, and we can really stick to the teachings of Mr. Garvey. So if one of us feels like, hey, what we're doing is outside of, Garveyism, we can bring forth this information. Mr. Garvey said that, yeah, like that's a bad example, but Mr. Garvey said that we should always maintain good hygiene, if someone tried to argue to the opposite. But, but no, but I mean that's a good example, brushing our teeth, especially when we come together and we represent the organization on a collective effort. We all represent each other. So as Garvey said, the audience is looking for a flaw. Even if it's not a flaw in me, a flaw in you, we have to make sure it's not a flaw in any of us as leadership. and this is a text that allows us to hold each other accountable on all aspects. So that's just a hygiene and clothing aspect, but from a government aspect, from a what are the aims and objects of the organization? What is our goals? That should come from the text. How do we achieve those goals? That should come from the text. Our institutions, the fact that we should be promoting institutions, we should be building institutions. We should understand man, we should have fundamentals of economy. So all of that it's not just a check in the box and say, oh yeah, I completed the course of African philosophy, because now you have to carry that responsibility of a graduate of the course of African philosophy. And again, I feel that we're in the position that we're in because, as Garvey said, his cubs are running free, but we haven't, as self-initiative said, we haven't realized and understood our true position, and our true, positions of importance and where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. So that's the key thing. In regards to the exam, as long as you've got the PowerPoint,
Questions.
yeah, it's directly from the PowerPoints. So
Right.
the most important questions, some of the questions, like I think we had a confusion about the policy that may not be up there, but direct questions, aims and objects of the UNIA, the importance of hygiene, the importance of, as Garvey said, in order to be good speakers, we must have a healthy mouth, those things,
Elocution.
everything, character, Christ, social system, economy, man. It'll be a comprehensive reminder of all of this information. But it's two things. Again, we got to, our ancestors had to do an exam, but they also had to write out each of the lessons by hand. We're not requiring that. I don't require that. I've talked to other students and graduates that do require that. But only thing that I require is the examination to go through the questions. It's more, the way I approach it is more so of a contract,
Right.
You affirm that you understand what Mr. Garvey has directed us. You understand that this is this is considered his last will and testament. And you affirm that, this is something that you are willing to carry out. That's what the completion of this course really represents in my mind.
Yes.
So,
Marcus Garvey personified.
yes. That's why me and Brother Art, I mean not Brother Art, me and Ross Marvin, we can kind of go at it a little bit. I still respect him as an elder. He's my teacher, I always will, so I don't go at him too hard. But Brother Omasius, I definitely come at him with the information and y'all see it. Ask him, how does Mr. Garvey promote business? What did he say was the reason why we weren't successful in business? What was Mr. Garvey promoting at the end of his life? Was he promoting institution or was he promoting other things? So that's what it's about. We all, as people, as adults, as leaders, that's really what it's about, is coming to an agreement to say that this is the document that will hold us all accountable. For the government of the United States, that document is the Constitution. So for the UNIA, that document is our Constitution. But we supplement that Constitution with the teachings of Mr. Garvey. So,
well, this has some really great stuff. I mean, I think there's some really good lessons in there.
There's a ton.
Can you hear me?
Every single one.
Yes, ma'am.
Paragraph from every single lesson, at least.
Yes, ma'am. We have to keep doing what we're doing. Continue to promote this information. I think that our leadership is coming around to develop a course of African philosophy or to emphasize it. And I hope it's a direct, I hope it's not a edited or abridged version. I hope it's just the text, going over the text as we do. But after 3 years of promoting this within the UNIA, the leadership has vocalized that they are trying to implement some of the same type of programs. But I haven't heard anything yet. Supposed to hear something by February. So yes, that's out of our control, out of our hands. But what is in our hands is our jurisdiction, and we will continue to do what we feel is best for our jurisdiction, and that's what this course is about. So, if they don't have anything else, 9:38. I don't have anything else. We've had a great class. I appreciate everybody coming. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet at the Griot due to inclement weather, but hopefully next week we will get back on schedule.
Yeah.
I think it's like 30 something. What is it now?
Right
Yes.
now?
I think it's like 32 or less right now.
It should be. I think it's less, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
21.
Yes,
What?
everybody.
Oh my
21?
21,
It's
Oh
yeah.
my God.
It's
Oh
19
my
where I am.
God.
19.
Woo.
19
Oh.
over here.
Yeah,
And it's windy too. I was trying to cover up some plants and the wind was like driving me mad.
A lowest of 12. Oh my.
Wow. It's getting to 12?
Yeah, 6 a.m. Oh, 13, my bad. At 5, the coldest it'll be is 13 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, funny. I gotta get on some of these national calls. We got brothers and sisters in Chicago and Detroit. They be laughing at us. I
Wow.
think somebody called in from Montreal this month talking about it was. I know she didn't say something. I want to say,
Below zero?
yeah, she said something like negative. And
Lost me.
yeah. It's like, all right, yeah, it's not too bad out here,
Wow. My goodness.
I'm gonna see my way. Or
All right, well, thank you, brothers and sisters. Brother Eric, you want to do us the honors of closing us out, my brother?
I actually I do.
You had to write it down.
Nope. I'm thinking, I remember because I was just looking at it before. It doesn't matter. What's the first one?
Africa for the oh, that's the end of it.
That's the end.
One God. It's just one. Yeah.
One God. Yes, one God.
In the middle. Okay. All right.
One
All right.
aim.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You give it a very
Are
thing.
you
Like,
ready?
just say it wrong.
All right.
One
Yeah,
God.
because it's being recorded. I want to do it right on my first try.
Oh no, you lost that opportunity unless I do some editing.
Nah, no, they'll know what I mean. All right. All right. I'm gonna start. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
One God,
One
One
God,
God,
one aim,
one aim,
one aim,
one destiny.
one
One
destiny.
one destiny.
Africa
Af
Africa.
Africa.
for the Africans,
For the
For
Africa,
the Africans.
for those at home,
those
For
at
those at home
and for those abroad.
and
and
those
for those abroad.
first.
Africa.
Great job, brother
Yes,
Eric.
Race first.
most definitely. See ya.
Yes, yes.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Yep.
Stay
We
warm.
talked Saturday. We're supposed to have our executive meeting Saturday. So
Oh yeah, executive meeting Saturday.
Were we supposed to do something on Thursday? Or
yeah,
no?
yeah. Brother Mason's supposed to be leading that. He's supposed to be doing some business stuff, discussions on Thursday.
Oh man.
Sister Diane, this calf. Let me stop. Did I stop the recording? I think I did. Did I stop the recording?
No, it says it's still going.